turns. There we go.
Welcome to Never Alone Live. And today we have our guest, Erica Davenport. Erica, it's so good to have you on with us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the
Uh,
invite.
so Erica and I talked a few weeks back, and we had a lovely conversation. And she wants to share her story, which I'm excited to hear. But in our conversation, we had this great. She said this great line, and it's God is a 24-hour support line. So I'm telling you, I was amazed by and on our call. I'm so grateful to have you on here. Erica, tell us about yourself. Tell us some of your story. Your camera dropped out,
Well,
which we
can you hear
There she
me?
is.
you were
Yes.
good. We got you.
Hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. My name is Erica, as you know. I'm from East Cleveland, Ohio. I'm the youngest of the siblings. Let's see. I have one daughter. She's in Florida. Let's see. I'm an author. I'm a recovery motivational speaker. Um, and I definitely help in my community. I'm a pillar of my community. So
How long have you been in recovery?
6 years.
6 years, and you're in recovery, and you started in Florida, and now you're in
Kentucky. I'm in
Kentucky.
Georgetown, Kentucky. Yes.
Okay, tell us your story. What happened? How is it going?
So my family, well, let's go back. Well, my dad was a big alcoholic. So and so both sides, my mama's side and my dad's side, but I picked more of my father's side. Because I'm more like him. I look like my mother. I'm born on her birthday, but I look like him. I act like him. So as a child, watching my father do what he did, it took a toll on me. And I've never healed from it. So I followed his footsteps. I started drinking a lot, then I started smoking weed. Then I started dibbling, dabbling in other things, criminal activities, and it just spiraled out of control. Then, as a teenager, I was really wild in the streets, selling drugs, doing drugs, stealing cars. I did it all. By the grace of God, I've never been to prison. I'm never going. But so it just got out of hand. And I went to school for real estate, got my license. And then I decided it was time for me to either leave. I had to leave Cleveland to better myself. I just had my daughter and I moved to Florida. Then I moved to Florida. Everything was good. Everything was great. And then I don't know if you've been to Florida and hanging in Miami, things happen. So I had too much fun. And I got into that world. I got right from back in the world that I just ran away from. And it was it was wild. It was wild. I seen a lot. I done a lot. I'm talking about it was amazing. I learned, went to jail. Actually, I don't know if you guys know who Jack Nicholas is. He was in my DUI class. Look, like I met all type of different people, but when I had to go to DUI school, he was one of the people that was in our class. And I'm thinking, this guy rich. Why is he
The
here?
golfer?
He should have a chauffeur. I know why I'm here. Because I'm drinking and driving, acting a fool on Daytona Beach, but I felt like I was living life, which I was, but I was living dangerously, y'all. I'm just gonna keep it real. I was living really bad and just living the Florida life. You gotta understand, it's a party town. Everybody's partying. So I got caught up in that world. And but I'm thankful. I don't apologize for it because it made me who the woman I am today. And it made me think about and be grateful to know that everybody that live this type of lifestyle, they don't usually, 9 times out of 10, they're not here to tell the story. I'm blessed to be able to sit here with you guys and tell you what happened, where a lot of my friends, like I moved to South Florida, a lot of them, they're no longer here. And like I was explaining to you before, one of my biggest things that I believe that the reason why I'm still here is because before I used to get high, I used to pray. I used to pray, and everybody got laughed at me. Everybody thought it was a joke, and they would say, "Why? How can you pray and get high at the same time?" And I said, "Easy, because God take care of what fools and babies, and I was not a baby, so what that make me a fool?" And I felt that that was the most time of my life where I needed Him the most. It was not like God turned his head and said, "Oh, okay, Erica's getting high. I'm just going to turn over here." No, I needed him right then to deliver me. And it took him a while because he felt like I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. I was saying I wanted to get delivered, but I was still hanging with the same people. I was still selling drugs. I was still in the streets. So, he took me to where I only could depend on him. And when I mean by that, he took me all the way down to nothing. So when I mean, losing everything, and it wasn't just because of the drugs, it was the domestic violence that I endured too with my ex, and I just wasn't having it. So it got to the point to where it got physical, it got deadly because I shot at him. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. When I tell you, I was in that life. I was in there all the way. Like my mother told me, she made a joke one day, and she said, "The devil misses you because you was his number one foot soldier," and I was. When
Yeah.
I tell you, I was his soldier. I was doing whatever that he told me to do. I was doing it, and I didn't care the repercussions behind that. But like I said, my story today can help somebody that's probably going down this path on the road that I was on or trying to get out. So, hearing my story, they will let them know you can overcome this. You can get sober. You have to set boundaries. You have to be firm, and you got to be careful who you around. That's a big plus. You cannot ask God to remove something and you run back to it. That's the number one thing that I've learned. That so everybody that's in my past that's still alive, I pray for the ones that's still alive. But if it's like I can't go back and hang with these, I can't go back and hang with these people. But I am going to go back and help them. I'm definitely going to do that. Because like I said, I got a transition home that I'm working on here in Kentucky for women. I'm gonna start out with the women first, and like I said, I go do speaking engagements. I talk to different people. I talk all like everywhere from Cleveland to Detroit. I'll be soon going to Atlanta. So my story can help somebody. So that's why when I asked you, could I come on your show, that somebody who might be listening might be going through this or know somebody going through this and don't know which way to go, but they can look at me, see that well how far that I came, and know that person or themselves they can overcome this. Because like I said, my mother prayed for me timelessly. Timelessly. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I remember I was in Daytona Beach and I was getting high, and I was around. It was Bethune Cookman College because my cousin was going there. She was a junior, so we was like off campus, but like near campus. So where she lived at, everyone hang out at, drinking, smoking, everything. So I remember I was sitting there smoking and drinking. It was a church right next door called Mark Carmel Baptist Church. Never had went to the church. Didn't know nothing about it. But I sat there and I heard them singing the choir. So while I'm getting high, I heard a voice, and God said, it was either God or the angels. My angels, they said, "Come." So I looked at everybody. I was like, "Did y'all hear that?" So they looking at me like I'm crazy. And so I was dead serious. I'm like, "No, y'all." I'm looking around like, but I'm still getting high. So they like, "Oh, Erica's high. Get the joint from her. Like she's tripping." So I'm like, "No, I'm telling you the truth. Like I heard it." So I'm sitting there and I heard it again. It was like just like 5 minutes. I was totally high. From the time I heard the voice assembly, I got sober. Just like that. So I got up. I was being obedient. I got up. I went to the church. Pastor Jeffrey Robinson. And I know I wrote him just to tell him about what I've been through, what he told me. I walked into this church, you guys. He was standing at the pulpit and he had his hands like this. He's like, "I've been waiting on you. God told me you were coming." And I just fell out. When I tell you, I just started crying. I got on my knees at the altar. He put his hands on me and he started praying. He just started praying. A lady got up. She started praying too. After that, I just couldn't stop crying. After that, he pulled me to the side. He said, "God told me to tell you that you're about to go through a real bad journey in your life." He said, it's going to be really bad. He said, I don't know. He said, I don't know what you're going to go through. He said, I'm just delivering the message. So I'm looking at him. I'm just like, okay. And he said, but I'm going to tell you something. Do not give up on your faith. He said, it's
Mm.
going to get real bad for you. He said, I'm just repeating what he's telling me. So I'm like, and when I tell you what this man told me, 5.5 years later, it went bad. It went bad for me, just like he said it was. And I've never seen him again because I moved to South Florida. He's in Daytona. So I moved to South Florida. I moved to Pompano Beach, Florida. And when I first got there, everything was good. And then I started, like everything that man was saying, I started drinking more. I started doing drugs more. I mean, everything this man was saying was happening. And then 2 years, 2 years of me being in Pompano Beach, Florida, I was coming home from work. I was a senior paralegal at one of the prestigious law firms in Hollywood, Florida. I'm coming home, hard day's work. I want something to drink. All I know, this I seen this car. Like, you know, you could tell somebody's following you because every which way I went, this car went. So I didn't pay no, I paid attention, but I was like, okay, maybe they just coming this way. I pulled in the gas station. I'm gonna tell you how good God is. I pulled in the gas station, went and got a Four Loco. If y'all know what that is, Four Loco drink, right? This lady, when I tell you, I can't even describe this lady. She was just beautiful, but it was a different type of beauty. Her eyes was amazing. It was like a color you never seen. Her skin was, it was just flawless. Like I just couldn't. She couldn't have been a human. Like I just can't. I can't explain it. Um, but she looked at me and she said, "I've been looking for you." So now I'm looking at her and I'm like, this lady crazy. You know, I'm like, okay. She's like, no, I'm serious. I've been looking for you. So I'm pumping my gas. So I'm like, now this lady tripping, you know, but she just, the way she was looking at me and I felt real safe. Like it was like a calming spirit. And she said, God told me to tell you. And I'm like, here we go again with this. Right. So I'm like, here goes somebody else telling me what God said. So I'm tripping, guys, but it changed my life. She told me, she said, God, she's because I was trying to hide the Four Loco behind my back. She was like, oh, I already know you drink. She was like, I know what you do. So I'm like, you don't even know me, ma'am. She like, she started smiling. And I'm like, okay. So she was like, well, I just want to let you know the road you're going down, if you don't get your life together, it's gonna get bad for you. So here I go again. That's the second time, right? And I'm like, okay. She said it's gonna get bad. But she was serious. She was so serious about it. But at the time, remember, I just heard that 2 years prior in Daytona. So I'm thinking, okay, this can't be a coincidence. But at the same time, I'm kind of scared because she's kind of saying the same thing the pastor said. Moving forward, she gave me, she touched me like on the top of my head, and she said, don't give up your faith. Stand on God's word. She said, and I was like, I'm never gonna give up my faith. She said, baby, you don't even know what you about to face in life. And I was just looking at her. So I zoomed home and Pompano, if you ever been to Pompano Beach, Pompano is not that big. So I went looking for this lady for 3 months. I looked for the car, I looked for her, never ever seen her again. Ever. Right? I went home to my mom. My mother's like, I think that was an angel. And I was like, you think so? She was like, yeah, I think that's an angel. And I was like, okay, moving right along. I kept doing what I was doing. I moved, got robbed. I mean, it was just crazy. But my house got robbed. I lost it. I went back to the old ways of me being in East Cleveland, toting guns. I went over there where these guys was at, went over there threatening with a gun. They called the police. Came to my house. I'm drunk, you know, because my daughter's scared, my mother's scared. They don't want to sleep there. And I'm thinking, I don't mess with nobody, but the old me popped up. So the old me ain't scared of nothing. So the old me went over there to these guys. There had been like 8 guys, and I didn't care. And I told them, I said, y'all done brung y'all butt over my house, you know, threatening my, you know, breaking in my house. So my mother, she's scared. She's like, Erica, get over here. She's praying at the same time. She's like, oh my God, you know, and I'm like, no, they ain't about to do this to us. So the police came to my door. I end up arguing with the cops. They end up tasing me. They tased me twice in front of my daughter, in front of my mother, in front of my dad. Now the first taser, because my mother didn't know at the time, but I had cocaine in my system, and I had marijuana, and I had alcohol. So when they tased me the first time, I was so angry. I ripped the taser off. I ripped it out, and the police was shocked. They was like, "Oh my God, she's cock diesel strong. What is she on?" And I was just like, I was just so mad. And they was like, "Hit her again, hit her again." My mother screaming, my daughter screaming, my dad screaming, and I was just angry. I was just so angry. I terrified my family and the police. So the police, they hit me in the middle of my back because I couldn't reach it. So I was, I'm trying to reach it, but it took me to the ground, straight to the ground. Boom. They Baker at me. They put me in the crazy house. Because they was like, we've never seen nobody just snatch a taser out like that. And she's unfazed. Like something's wrong with her. So they Baker at me for 4 days. Um, then I get out and I kept hearing that voice. And and kept hearing that lady voice like, it's gonna get bad, it's gonna get bad. And from that point on, I really dived in head first with the drugs even more. I don't know if you know the drug Flocka. I started doing that, and then Molly, then went to cocaine and for crack. I was all over the place. One drug I didn't really mess with was the boy because I was scared of needles, so I wasn't gonna do that. But everything else, meth, I tried all of that. It was just going downhill, everything. Then I moved to West Palm Beach and Boca Raton, Florida, with my ex and my daughter, and everything was going good. We was living good, had a nice home. Everything was going. We had a pool business, and he started because he was doing cocaine with me. But he would change when he got high. So this particular time, he had got so high, he wanted to put his hands on me. Now, remember I told you earlier, my dad used to put his hands on my mother, and that was something that I promised myself I would never let a man do to me. So I'm fighting. I mean, we're like fighting. So I didn't want my daughter to think that was the right way to grow up because her father never hit me. He was a great man, great, great person, great dad. So I knew I had to remove myself from that situation. I moved out. I moved in with my uncle, and he wouldn't let go. When I tell you this guy took me and my daughter through pure hell. I mean, he threatened to kill me. He threatened to kill my daughter. He then kill himself. He was stalking myself and my daughter. My daughter was in high school. I think she was in the 10th grade at the time. He called her school and told now keep my daughter's a straight A student, good student. They've never been in trouble, nothing. He told the school that my daughter had guns and drugs in her book bag. So the police, the SWAT, all of them came, embarrassed my daughter, pulled her out of school, put her out of class. They called me. Then Children Family Services got involved. And I'm telling them, I'm like, no, this is my ex doing this. They investigate. They seen I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't abusing my daughter. They seen you. All her teachers spoke up for her. Like, no, not her. Maybe some other students, but not this one. She's the best student that we have. And it was like, so it had got better. I lost my job. I was working for T-Mobile at the time for the corporate. I ended up having to sue T-Mobile because the state attorney had told them what I was facing. And it was like, she can't work night shift. He was calling my job, threatening my boss, threatening everybody, the staff. He was like, as soon as she come out the door, I'm gonna shoot you, I'm gonna shoot her. So, I understood them letting me go, but it was how they let me go. The state of Florida, like when I tell you Fort Lauderdale, Pompano Beach, Boca Raton, all the cops and detectives, they know me personally. And because of this incident, it was even bad when one of the commanders, he to the house. He said, I really believe you need a gun. We need to send you they had a program for women with domestic violence to teach them how to shoot. He said, you really need to go because if we don't find him, he's gonna kill you.
Right.
It was to the point to where he would call the police every night and send them to my house. Now
Erica,
that's what
I
I did
want to
like
tell you,
about Florida
I'm
because in
telling you,
Florida, if the Florida the Florida the
Erica,
FPL, they will give you their information.
Erica, I want to tell you, this is
Can you
you've
hear
got a.
me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Wait.
I don't know if she can hear me. Well, Erica, you got your story is so you've got a lot. There is so
I,
much there, and I mean,
yes.
I've got so many questions already, and you keep going.
Okay.
And I
I'm sorry.
first off, I ain't never heard of no four locos before. I don't even know. I
What?
thought I heard of everything. I've been sober too long. I think I've been sober too long. I ain't never heard of no four locos,
He
and
got
this place
sober
sounds
before
great.
all the crazy stuff.
I'm
Oh,
telling you,
okay. Yeah.
I ain't never heard no flocka. I ain't heard of nothing. I don't know none of this. I've been sober too long. But
Too
you
big in
said something, and
Florida.
That's good.
you said something. I want to get back to your story, but you said something in the middle there about how your testimony is how it helps people. And this is something because we've got people on. We're gonna have people watching this afterwards, things like that. And I want to, this is something a lot of people aren't going to be able to relate. They're not going to be able to. They compare themselves, right? And this is
Mhm.
something I want to push right now because it's real easy to compare and say, "Oh, well, I didn't live in Pompano Beach and get arrested and get this and that. I never woke up and had no flocka." Um, Everybody's story is different. I want
Right.
everybody to be able to listen to your story. And this is probably something I should have started with. So I apologize for having to break up in the middle. But it's your story's strong. And you tell us so well with so much passion. And and I know I'm speaking for Krista and Brian. When I say that, all we come on this specifically for the same exact reason. Our job is to share our story, share our experience, share our hope.
Right.
And while you were talking, we were getting a few comments in there, and I love talking about the comments,
Oh,
especially with
absolutely.
because we ask people where they're from and their sobriety date. Christine Wilson, my new friend. She's been sober since 6/26. That's a little over a
Wow.
month. Woo,
Yeah.
Christine!
It's
I'm
my
telling you,
hero.
we're cheering for. And there was one other one in here, Cheryl. Cheryl had January, March 3rd, 25. So that's coming up on 5 months. I'm so
All
proud of you,
right.
Cheryl. See, and this,
Powerful.
and you're in here. You were telling our stories, and you tell your story, and you've talked so much about God and about how you were praying in active addiction, which a lot of people are praying in active addiction. You go to church and, you don't know how many people are struggling in there, but they're struggling
Exactly.
and they're still there. They're still praying. And this message is hitting home for them because you don't know who's struggling, but they're praying.
Right.
And God, I mean, we only heard the beginning of your story and you've already had two angels come.
Exactly.
And,
And a
Yes.
prophet. Those are like
Yes.
prophets.
Yes. Changed my
you
life.
think about all the people in your life that tried to help you, that tried to get you sober, that tried to do something, right? That said
Right.
something along the way. And those were angels. Those were angels
Yep.
being sent to us, that we might not have been in the right place or mindset to hear it or recognize it. But that's important. Brian, who was your angel?
Willingness.
Brian, who was the person that told you need to get sober?
Oh, everybody. I mean, everybody. Strangers could see me and tell me I needed to get sober. I was a mess, but I would probably say Madonna.
I knew he was gonna
Many
say
over the
her. I was
years,
hoping he did.
but Madonna was the one that because a lot of people that prayed for me, they gave up on me eventually. They're quit. They were tired of my nonsense. They were tired of my broken promises. They were tired of it all. But Madonna was the one who stuck and stayed by my
Mm.
side despite my bullshit. And she said a lot of prayers. She talks about it all the time because I've got, right at 2.5 years clean. And I go to a meeting every day. Minimum. If I miss a day, I go 5 days a week. And she doesn't go to as many as me because she's about to celebrate 13 years clean. She's got a
Mhm.
crazy work schedule. But when I'm like, hey, babe, is it okay if I go with so and so to a meeting? She's like, absolutely. She goes, you have no idea how long I prayed for you to have the willingness just to go to a meeting. And now that's what I do. You know, I didn't fit recovery to my life, right? I fit my life to recovery. So I put my recovery first. I go to a lot of meetings, and I would say she was the angel that said the most prayers and stuck by my side until those prayers were answered.
Amen.
That's awesome. See, I told you. And
And
you
you
know, it's
are
funny
like her meeting because you live, breathe recovery. So she gets her meeting every day with you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't want Brian to be my recovery. I'd be sick as a mug. Look at
Part of the recovery.
We're talking about angels, and look at right in the comments. Marie, look, I took my glasses off so I can barely read. So if I'm getting my face real close to the monitor, that's why. Look at Marie. Marie said that what did she say? Benjamin Lerner was her angel.
He's
Isn't that
awesome. He's awesome.
Isn't that awesome?
He's good.
Krista, Krista, who was your angel?
So I got sober. I have a very similar story, not as extreme as Erica's, but I
She loved that Four Loko. Loved
so
that
much.
Four Loko.
I never got into the Mike's Hard Lemonade was like my jam, but it was high in alcohol percentage, so that was my last drink. But I can relate so much. But I got sober in county jail, and I was facing 20 years in prison, and I was very violent when I would drink, and my grandma's I called my grandma every time I go to jail because she lived in the town the jail was, and I'm her oldest granddaughter, her like favorite. And her next door neighbor was head of the public defender's office. I had never met him, and he came in and saw me and was like, "Listen, all your charges, all of them, look like they're drug and alcohol induced, and they were all violent charges. I got a couple DUIs, but it was really all like CDV and all that." He's like, you should go to treatment. And no one had ever offered me treatment. No one had ever said, go to recovery, go to a meeting, go. I didn't know anyone sober. And he told me to do it, and I did it. And he passed a few years ago, but it's crazy how I ended up, I'm his wife's next door neighbor now.
Wow.
Crazy. And then I had a second angel pop in, and it was in February. And I believe I've learned about prophets and stuff. And that's who comes to you and tells you what God is doing.
Yes.
Like, and he put his hand, I went to a conference for my recovery group, and he put his hand on, I've never met the man, put his hand on my shoulder and was like, God's going to do something big in your life. I'm like, who are you?
Right.
Like, God is going to do something really big in your life. And that's when everything, I have the chills right now, everything started to change. And I'm in a faith-based recovery group now. And then I got baptized a few months later, and like just big things, whole spiritual awakening happened. So I'm open to all the angels. Keep them coming.
Me too.
I'm telling you, see, we've all got these people in our life, and you don't see it right then, you know, and you see it, you know, years later. You look back at your life because, you know, hindsight's 20/20. And I don't see the burning bushes when they're happening in front of me. But I look back, and there were so many burning bushes and so many people that came along and said, you know, hey, you should do this. I wasn't listening. I couldn't hear it. But, you know, looking back at all those people, had they not said that, had they not been in my life, or, you know, that inkling of a moment or big, whatever, I wouldn't be able to share that today. And it's so important to recognize that those things from our past. So our buddy Mike from soberhats.com is on here right now, and he said something that's extremely funny. He said, and it's not funny, but he says, my current wife and sons were his angels. And when it's funny because there's this trend on Instagram and TikTok when you're supposed to be you're next to your spouse or whatever, and you say, yeah, my current wife, they don't like that. They don't like that when you say it in front of them. But so
sometimes you have to be specific. Okay?
Exactly.
Mike is on here. We've got some people on here watching and listening, and I'm going to give out something free. Let's give out something free. You want to give out something free? Mike doesn't know about this one yet, but we're going to do this. So Mike makes soberhats.com. Krista's modeling right now. It just says sober period. And I am going to buy that hat. Maybe not that pink one. because only sober Barbie can pull that off. And Brian, maybe. But I am going to buy a hat for the first person that sends Mike a message right now that says Johnny sent me. So Mike, the first person that sends you a message that says Johnny sent me, I am going to buy them a hat. So I like giving out free stuff. Let's give out some free stuff.
Yeah.
I love the hat.
Oh,
I know it's good.
look at you see Brian over there. Brian's so mad right now because he wants
Right.
to do this on his phone. He's gonna send Johnny sent me. Johnny sent me.
Y'all, it's been done.
Yep.
And
I love this too because you can tell God was working in the hard times. It's proof that God
Absolutely.
That's when He's working, and we're not.
Yes.
We can't see it, but when you look back, but that's when He works the hardest.
Exactly. And that's why I was like, when I first came in, I was saying that a lot of people can relate. When I say that, Johnny is like, they might not, they haven't been in my shoes. They haven't, like you said, a lot of people don't know what flock is. But my point was, no matter how bad the abyss, whatever they're going through, whatever drug they're on, or whether it's, it don't necessarily have to be a drug. It could be a love. Love is the biggest drug it is, really, because people do strange things for love. Just as bad as a drug. But I just want people to know, even though my story it has an arduous journey, but I overcame. God still had His hands on me. As long as you stand in your faith, no matter what you're going through, you can overcome anything, because I'm a living proof that you can.
Living proof.
I shouldn't be here to even be able to tell my story, and I know somebody probably going through something way worse than what I've been through. You know what I'm saying? So I just want them to know, no matter what they're going through, look at my life. You can change. You can get clean. Your whole life can do a whole 360. Don't let nobody tell you just because you did this or your past is your past. And like my pastor said, he said it best. He said, your past don't have any arms or legs, so why are we holding on to it?
Ooh.
Let it go. Let it go.
I love that.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
That goes to
That's
Pastor Henry and Mother and Lady Joy. Yes, when they said that in Bible class, it hit different. And I'm like, you think about we hold on to the past. It ain't got no arms or legs. So why you holding on to it? Let it go. So I just want people to know, just even like them hearing my story, it don't matter what you're going through. Anybody who's listening, you can overcome it. You can overcome anything. Just believe in yourself. That's number one. Believe that you can do it, no matter what nobody else says about you. And do what you have to do. Keep your faith. Believe, because trust me, I don't care what nobody. There's God, and no one's gonna tell me any different. And I had a third angel come to me recently. So, and everything that angels, all she said was abundantly. That's all she said. And everything I touched been double.
It's stuff you can't make up. You can't make this up.
I can't make it up. I can't make it up.
Is it odd or is it God? Brian, you wanted to say something.
Well, I mean, Erica was just saying how, her story's different. We all have different stories, but I think the relatable part is the feelings are the same. The reasons behind why we use, or the feelings that we get from using or poor behavior, the shame, the guilt, the embarrassment, or why we started using, which is a lot of times the trauma, the insecurities, the whatever. Doesn't matter the substance. It doesn't matter, what you were doing in the streets. It's but the feeling and the motivation and all of the nonsense behind it is all the same. So
right.
I think everybody can relate to each and every one of our stories. Not all of it, but definitely pieces. And those are the things we need to focus on, because those are the things, like you said, everybody's got the different story, right? Some worse than others. But if my story is less than yours, and I can see that you had a worse story than mine, Erica, and you came through it and you're clean and sober, why can't I? And that was actually the impact that one of the things that changed my life, because my story's kind of crazy as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, it kept me in that victim mindset for a long time. Poor me, And as the saying goes, pour me another drink, right? And
Oh,
and that's what I did for many, many years
Yeah.
until I was being angry man in a treatment center, and this lady seen that. The next day in group, she decided to tell her story.
Hmm.
Her story was way worse than mine, right?
Right.
And when I heard her story, I would have been mean and critical and angry. And she was most kind, loving person I had ever met. And it
Wow.
changed the perspective that I had with she survived this, and look how loving and kind she is. I
Right.
can do it too, right? I can do it. I can overcome what I'm going through. And I don't have to be an asshole. I don't have to be mean. I don't have to be resentful. I don't have to be broken, because another thing that we say, right, is like hurt people hurt people. So I had to heal the hurt. And once I healed the hurt, I can help people now, show them how to get out of it just the way she showed me how. And I think all of our stories have the capability of doing so.
Hmm.
and God doesn't rate
Absolutely.
sin. He doesn't rate the sin. Sin is sin. I mean, we're all worthy.
Exactly. And
Marie can meet Joel if she comes to the recovery meeting on Tuesday nights from
Yeah,
Sober
yeah.
Sessions. He
all
comes every
right,
Tuesday.
Marie.
Look at
Uh,
Marie Anderson is the
All right,
winner
the winner.
of soberhats.com, and she's going to get the sober period hat. And Mike just said that next week he's going to give a free hat too. So make sure you join again next week. And dude, this is awesome. This is awesome. See, this is where we get to have fun.
Did you see Robin's comment also? Robin said, I was watching the Me You Can't See on Apple TV. I see a sign, never alone. This popped up. Here I am. From Illinois, my sobriety date is February 14th. She's a Valentine's Day anniversary.
I
Grateful to
love
be
it.
here. We're grateful to have
Those
you here, Robin.
the
Hey,
signs, like
right. That's
I believe
awesome.
this is a sign having you here, Erica. Like you're saying
Thank
things that
you.
like,
That is
Sean,
awesome.
this is such a good topic.
Yes.
Sean says, I need that hat. Sean says, I need that hat. Sean, we're giving away
I
another
like
free
that.
hat next week.
I need
So
the
you
hat
come back.
myself.
Erica, you come back next week. You're going to win that hat too.
I'm gonna win the hat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell
I
you.
got to win it.
I'm telling you.
It looks good
And
on Barbie. It's gonna look good on me too.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
See, that's the best thing about being a bald man. I can wear any hat at any
Right.
time. Any hat. I make it look good. All right. So so we talked a lot about the craziness, and we talked a lot about like the before. Let's talk about how you got sober.
I remember this vaguely. I mean, I remember like yesterday. I was walking down the street called Dixie Highway, like 3 a.m. It's crazy. I had all my drugs on me, but it was different. The sky, it didn't have one star in the sky. And I remember my daughter had stopped talking to me. I'm like, everybody was gone in my life. Nobody, my mother was mad at me, and I was just alone. And I was walking down this road, and I said, Lord, I'm done. I'm done. And I heard the voice again, and he said, come. Now, anybody been in Florida, it's a busy road. Dixie Highway is very busy. So it's like I hear them, but I don't. I was tunnel vision. All I remember walking until I walked to this park, 3 o'clock in the morning. I had all these drugs on me. I sat at the park. This park that I was sitting at is always busy at night. Wasn't nobody out there. And I said, God, if you're true, show me. That's why you gotta be careful what you ask me too. I said, show me that you're here and you're here with me. And I remember the God said, get rid of the drugs. If you're done, get rid of them. But I had the devil on this side, like, just hit it one more time. Just hit it one more time. So I threw the drugs in the garbage can, but I didn't like dispose of them. So I'm sitting there, and I went back in the trash to pick it up, to get it out. So God said, if you're done, get rid of it. So I stomped the joint. I broke the joint up, and I poured the liquor out. And I just sat there and I just cried. I said, Lord, please forgive me. Everything that I've done, I'm sorry. And I just, I just gave. I said, I surrender my life to you right now. And 2 days later, I went to jail, and
Mm.
that was the best time of my life. And it's crazy, but when I tell you, I got more sleep. Keep in mind, my daughter at the time was a deputy, and she was on the men's side. Yeah, but she was on the men's
Wow.
side, and I'm on the women's side. So, I would thank God we never seen each other, because that would have broke me
Oh
down
my
even worse.
God.
But it was to the point to where I prayed. I said, Lord, do not open this door. Don't open these gates until I'm done, because I'm never coming back. I
Mm.
sat there 3.5 months. 3.5 months. And I had a paid attorney, so there was no reason for me to sit there. I had a really
Yeah.
good attorney. But I prayed tirelessly. I said, Lord, do not open the doors until I get it right, because I'm not coming back. After those 3 months, I ended up getting on the ankle monitor, and I was having like an eerie feeling the last month that I was doing my time. I kept having this feeling, but I couldn't pinpoint what it was. So the week that I got out, my daughter's father went into a coma. Now he's in Cleveland. I'm there. So I immediately, I said, I need to go to Cleveland. I was getting ready to violate and just take a flight. And my daughter was like, no, Ma, just do the right thing. Ask the judge, can he give you permission to go? I was like, no, I need to go. I need to get there now. But I was doing so good. My daughter's like, no, Ma, I'm going to fly up there. She flew up there. And then like a week, the judge never replied back. A week later, he was getting in worse, and the situation that got turned for the worse. So the day that he approved me, the day I was getting on the plane, the day that my daughter's father died. So that was devastating. 46 years old, he died of an aneurysm.
Oh.
And he didn't even do drugs. Here I am out in the world, and that just changed. I was already clean, but that just made me look at life totally different. Even when the devil tried to get me to turn back when he died, I just couldn't, because I was the only surviving parent that my daughter had. And I wanted to, I just said, Lord, I got to stay clean. And we buried him. We came back. My daughter let me stay in one of her houses. And I just got my life together. And I said, Lord, I said, show me my mission on this earth. And when he went, he just came to me and said, your story. Tell people what I did for you. Tell people how I delivered you. And I've been doing it ever since. So, like I said, I got clean before he died, which he died in 2020. I got clean in September of 2019, September 29th to be exact. So it was time. My heart was heavy. I was tired of living that way. My daughter had stopped talking to me, and that was devastating. For me to see all the pain and hurt that I put on my family, and knowing that was not, and that it's not going to be the end of my life. That was not going to be the last chapter of my life. I said, and ever since then, I promised myself and I promised God that I was going to help build somebody else up. I don't care if it's one person. I talk to many, but if I could save one or two lives, I know I'm doing my job. But I'm dedicated. I do, I'm in the community, like I said before. I'm at Recovery Cafe here in Lexington, and I'm there tirelessly, where I do volunteer work.
A recovery cafe?
Yes, they're awesome. They're awesome. We have two locations, one in Lexington, one in Frankfurt. They're out of Seattle.
I want one
Jason.
here.
Oh man, but they're expanding. They're definitely expanding.
Wow.
I would definitely talk to the owners about that. See if we can get one in Chicago. But
I'm not.
awesome.
I'm in South Carolina.
Oh, you're in South Carolina?
There's
okay.
Chicago. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna get one there too.
Let's go.
Let's go. I mean, they really hands on with the community
Chicago.
and helping people, and that's just what I need to do, and that's what I feel that God saved me to do, because I shouldn't be here, and my daughter's father is gone, so I got that's my mission. And
so you got sober in jail.
Basically, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So did me and John.
Me too.
And that was the best time of my life. And
Same.
In the place where it should have been the worst, I took it as a different. I took it as a different way of life, and just looked at the positive of it. I was safe. I was clean, and I was able to get my mind together. And I was clear-minded. That's right. Because he could have just said, he could have just pulled the plug, and it wouldn't have been no timeout. I could have been in the grave. What you know? So I'm thankful for that time in jail. I'm thankful
Me
that he
too.
chose me to put me in jail. He loved me enough and say, you know, I'm not finished with her yet. She will, just like I was a soldier for the devil, I go even harder for God.
He
So
left the 99 for the one.
that's right, baby. That's
I
right.
always did well in jail, right? Or treatment, because in jail or treatment, my decisions are made for me. Somebody tells me when to eat, somebody tells
Yeah.
me when to sleep,
Yeah.
somebody tells me, gives me a set of rules. When I'm left to my own devices, I'm going to make poor choices and burn my life to the
Yeah.
ground.
Right.
So, that's what it took for me. I mean, I didn't get clean in jail. I've been enough. You would think I would have had that realization.
He's got a few.
A few. I've been arrested 52 times. And
Really?
that wasn't enough
Man.
though.
He didn't
Right.
like it that much.
Yeah, I didn't like it, right? But, treatment this time, and that's why I said earlier, like the willingness. The willingness is what
Yes.
changed.
Yeah, when
Because the gift of
desperation meets willingness.
desperation,
Yep.
yeah,
Head
when
on.
desperation meets willingness,
Yeah.
The addict can begin to recover.
Absolutely.
I heard
So
that from
I gotta put my glasses back on because Tiffany, our friend from Canada, she says I can relate to you, Erica. I went to the big girl jail, and the day I walked in there, I turned my will, and so she says something very interesting here, and this is a reason why I'm reading this. I turned my will and my love over to the care of God, and I prayed every day to give me the strength to make it through these days. And when I finally got a hold of my lawyer, he told me that they offered me 2 years house arrest, and I took the deal. I've been sober ever since. I believe it was
Yay.
God who gave me this last chance to right my wrongs, to give me this chance to do it right this time, and to finally, I don't know, that's where it's cut off on my screen, but
That is
that's
awesome.
it's amazing. I got sober in jail. I woke up, I looked in the mirror, I decided I didn't want to be that way anymore. I had my, we all have, our starting point. What was our reason for getting sober? I wish I could say I got sober because I wanted to get me sober. No, I got sober because I wanted to be a father. I got sober because my daughter was 3 months old, and now my daughter's 21, going on 22 real soon, and she hasn't seen me drink or use a drug since she was 3 months sober, and it's awesome. And and that's all God. And we talk about angels. It's funny because I got my chest tattooed, and one of my chest tattoos is my daughter.
I'm gonna cry.
She's one of the angels in my life. She is the
Yes.
reason. She is the reason. There was a song that came out by Hoobastank, and it's called "The Reason."
Yeah.
And she's the reason.
I picture it now
And
with the song playing.
it's so awesome. And and this topic is so important, because everybody gets sober in a different place at a different time for a different reason. When do you reach your bottom? When you stop digging. And a lot of people stop digging when they wake up incarcerated. That livers, lawyers, and lovers. What's going to cause us to get sober? And Brian was dead like 12 times, and every time he came back, what did he do? He went back to drugs and alcohol. It took his girlfriend beating his ass, and I know
And the
her
average
personally.
person thinks you're crazy. Like, why would you go back to that? But
Right.
they don't
But they don't understand. Yeah.
Obsession and compulsion. Hey, I wanted to shout out Joel joined the live. Welcome,
Hey,
Joel. We
Joel.
love you, buddy.
Joel from Sober Session.
Also, Joel from the Sober Sessions. You had a fan in our comments section that said
Marie. He knows Marie. He knows Marie loves him.
They would love to meet you. So we told Marie to join the live or Krista's meeting that you were on last night. So next week, hopefully, she'll get to interact with you live.
It says it pops on tonight's too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we
We'll
love
do
you,
some
Joel.
Zoom recovery meetings.
You never know. you know, you don't know why people are going to do what they do. Sean, our guide Sean here says cirrhosis, you know, livers, lawyers, and lovers, you know, whether it's a medical thing, an incarceration thing, or, you know, because, you know, the spouse is going to leave, whatever. It's you know, we've all got a story. We've all got a different story. Your story, while we have some similarities, you know, it's different than mine. I focus on the similarities. I focus on where we can relate, and hopefully everyone else does too, because you know, these stories, these testimonies that we give are so impactful, you know. And so I'm going to bring up our topic. Our topic is that you said to me, I'm telling you, you said this to me on our phone call the other day. God is a 24-hour support line. This is so impactful because we're so, and I thought about this at great lengths, because I'm so prone to taking my will back. I take my will back all the time, and it's human nature. God gave us free will. We're supposed to take our will back, but you know, having God as my support all the time, you know, we got to do it. I have to do it more, you know, and I've gotten better over the years. Don't get me wrong, but I want to dive into this. I want to hear everyone's comments on God is a 24-hour support line. And Erica, tell us why. Talk to me about that.
Because the reason I love that saying is because when the guy's phone's never off the hook, he's always available. You know, it was times, you know, when I was going early stage of my recovery, when there was nobody, I couldn't call. It was too late at night. Somebody didn't answer the phone. You know, that somebody's phone was busy. But when I picked that Bible up, God was right there. He's 24 hours no matter what. And that showed me one of my favorite Psalms is Psalms 118. He said, don't put your trust in human beings. And that goes a long way. So when I was trying to contact my sponsors, they would never answer. God showed me you only need me. Just call on me. And that's what I did. So when I say that's why I say he's a 24-hour support line. And he's never gonna turn you away, ever. So like I said, when I go through something, I pick my Bible up. I ask God, I need you to help me with this. And I'm gonna read until he throws something at me. And then but whatever I'm going through, it's either going to be resolved. I'm not going to think about it no more, or I'm going to leave it with him at the altar, and I'm not going to pick it back up. And like I tell him, when certain bills come, I say, "Oh, that's for God, because I don't know what I'm doing with that." You know, God, he got it.
Especially those.
Right. I'm not going to stress over nothing.
He'll make a way,
I'm not
though.
going to worry up. Exactly. I'm not going to worry.
You know, it's funny. So I always know when a topic is going, you know, this line in particular, God is a 24-hour support line. I knew when Erica and I were talking and she said that line, I said, oh, that's going to be the topic. I knew that Krista would love that line. Krista, what do you think about
what you say?
When you and I were talking about,
but yeah, that's what I'm trying to, my pain and the purpose.
When you and I were talking about this topic and this line in particular, I knew, and when you were talking, I saw Krista doing this, yes. And because I knew this in particular would get her excited. So, Krista, what do you think about that line?
It's just so cool because, like, all the God stuff is coming to me, like, through Erica, and then Joel from Sober Sessions, who's commenting right here. He said a cool line last night, and I hope he can comment. What he said, GPS stood for something. God's
promise.
God's positioning system.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of like that.
In my next move.
Like, but I love it because I have had some hard times recently, and I just knowing that I go, oh my gosh, this is when he's working the hardest. So just have the faith, Krista. Like, don't stress out. He's working right now. And being able to have someone you could talk to all the time. And my first thing I do when I wake up is I say, Holy Spirit, lead the way. Lead the way. Like he's leading the way. He's there all the time. He's showing me the coolest signs ever, putting the coolest people in my life, and just I have to see it to believe it. And he's making sure I'm seeing it. And I've been on this great journey, and there's no backtracking with it. There isn't, as long as you keep the faith and like just talking about it, and I knew Joel would really like this too, because I host a recovery meeting on Tuesday nights, a Zoom one, and it's been
I would
going
love
the
to
God
join.
way. Like and it's cool how people who don't really believe in him are we're just like planting seeds for him, and it's
Exactly.
just he's here it's a hotline. It's a hotline.
That's
I love
right.
it,
I love it.
and it costs
It's
no money to call.
That's right.
you know,
You ain't got to collect call, nothing.
the line
No
that
call
what you
waiting.
said about, God, don't trust human power. We got to put some faith in human power, because I mean, we've got all sorts of people around us that want to help us, and God puts
Oh yeah,
people in
not
our
like
lives.
that.
God puts people in our lives.
I didn't.
However, that
Right.
whole we can always depend on God, and
Oh, absolutely.
and unfortunately, most people are impatient, especially people that are new to God. And it's like, all right, God, help me fix this problem right here. God don't work immediately.
God ain't no
It's God's
microwave
time.
God.
It's God's time. Like a microwave God.
He's
That was
not.
a
Yeah,
great
he
line.
ain't no microwave God. He's the on time God, but he's not a microwave God. He come
Oh,
when
I
he
like
wants to.
that.
And we get a lot of newcomers on this thing, and we got a lot of new people on this today celebrating 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year.
Exactly.
And everyone is on their journey, and some people, especially new to this journey, I want to tell them, be patient. God will provide. God will give you everything you need and more, and then some, and it's everything. God,
Exactly.
my book tells me God is everything or God is nothing, and
That's
God
right.
is everything for me today. God is everything, and the gifts that I've been given, it's just you can't, I can't. It's unmeasurable.
It is. It's unmeasurable.
And
Oh
God puts
man.
people in our lives. It puts people in our lives that are teaching us lessons all day, every day.
All
And
day.
it's so funny. And I've been sober a long time, and I'm telling you, I meet all these newcomers, and I meet people with a lot less, and they just fill me with information and fill me with new things, and it's so amazing. But all I have to do is open my eyes and recognize that it's God. This is
That's
God
it.
talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
You gotta open
And
your eyes.
he talked to us. All we have to do is have the listener. We have to have our ears open and just be quiet and just let him
And
talk
look
to us
for it.
and look
Look
for it.
for it, and you will
Exactly.
see it.
And you will see it, because every time I go through anything, I always ask him, Lord, speak through me. When I go to places I don't know what to say, I say, Lord, speak through me, and let me have an open ear, so where I can hear how God would receive it, and not just and take me out of the equation. Because sometimes you can hear something and not be the way they say it, because you know what I'm saying, you're so on the defensive. But when you ask God to let you hear through him, you'll hear what he wants you to hear. So I mean, I couldn't do it without him. I stand here right now. I would not be here. I would not be the person that I am without him. And being obedient, that's important.
Amen.
I'm
Yes.
telling you, this has been so, and I knew when after we talked last week that this was going to be an impactful live stream today, just because talking about God. And it's funny because we've been talking a lot about prayer. We do a TikTok thing every morning, and I was on Sober Barbie's Zoom meeting last night, and we're talking about the power of prayer and how how important it is. And it's just, I gotta keep talking, I gotta keep communicating. And I honestly believe when I am being vulnerable and I'm talking with another person, it's just like the fifth step. I'm telling God and another human being. So if I'm sitting and talking to Brian and telling him my story of woes, I'm telling God too. I believe I just gotta keep being vulnerable. I got to keep my humility up. Long-term sobriety equates with long-term humility, and understanding that God is everything. That's enormous. Erica,
Exactly.
I thank you so much for being on here with us
Thank
today.
you
And
guys.
I thank you, Mike, for playing along with my game. We gave a free hat away to Marie Anderson, Marie was on here a couple weeks ago when Joel was on from the Sober Sessions, and I said Sober Sessions on accident, and she corrected me real fast. The Sober Sessions. So,
Right.
our this meeting, of course, is sponsored by Never Alone Recovery, and Never Alone Recovery that helps people get into treatments. Brian, you want to talk about Never Alone Recovery?
Never Alone Recovery. We're a free resource where we help people with inpatient treatment, detox, sober living. If you need connection to a resource to a therapist or anything of that nature, we're a free resource. You can find us at neveralonerecovery.com, or you can call our hotline, which has been added to the chat. It's 1-855-831-9996.
Amazing. Thank you, Brian. And all of these, we've got a lot of different links that have been in the comments. We've got links to the different meetings that we're on, the different meetings, Sober Barbie's link that has everything there. We have the Never Alone helpline in the comments as well. Follow Joel. Go find Erica. Erica, where should people find you at?
They can find me on Instagram with the God Loves Endures Forever. Also, I have my organization Tito. It's on Facebook. That's why I just started that one. But
Tito
it stands for Attorney in Securities to Opportunities. It's a nonprofit recovery resource center / transition home. So I'm grateful. Please do.
Okay, we're gonna put those links into the comments as well. So even after, because we're gonna post this video and we're gonna have the comments in, and because we want people to be able to, reach out and ask you questions as well. Your testimony is so powerful, Erica. I wish we had more time. I wish we had more time to talk, because I know that we could just go on and on and on and on.
Yes, right.
But I just want to thank everybody for commenting and joining in with us. Anybody celebrating that sober time, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Yes.
We're proud of you.
We're proud.
And if you think you can't go, keep going, because it's just going to get better. And remember that God is your 24-hour support line and available at all times. God loves you. We love you. And Erica, once again, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, guys. I had an awesome time with you guys, and I'm definitely going to tune in your prayer lines too as well.
Yes,
I love it. I love it. Brian, I'm
all right, guys.
too.
We'll see you later. Yeah. See you guys later.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for having me. Y'all have a blessed day.